Sacerdote Aloysius. If you know, Holy Writ states that at the Battle of Helden, fierce Pelinal's face and hair were covered in the blood of righteously slaughtered Aelids. He was the firebrand who led the fight for freedom against our brutal taskmasters, the Aelids. We hold that his actions were divinely inspired. The Bridge of Helden was one of his many victories, unifying the tribes of men against the elves. The elves sought to blockade the northern bridge, driving back Nords sent to reinforce St. Alessia's army. The White Strake, ever eager for elven blood, assaulted their lines and slew them, every one, before the Nords could even ready their arms. Once a slave, the dragon god himself inspired her to rise up and rally the men of Cyrodiil to overthrow their Aeliad masters. Pelinal and Morahouse were her trusted confidants, and, depending on their translations, either or both were her lovers. Once we preached Alessia's truth in the temple district of the Imperial City, before its siege and sacking by Molag Bal. Many fell, but many fled, to carry on our work outside the city walls. So, how was it? Speak! Do you feel invigorated, imbued with righteous power, or perhaps struck dumb with awe by a vision of St. Alessia herself? Go ahead, reveal to all your holy transmogrification! Oh, well, everyone's experience is different, to be sure. But don't let that keep you from getting out there and making a legend for yourself. The White Strake will walk in your steps and goad you to righteous fury! Though Pelinal is seen as a controversial figure by some, none can dispute the mark he left on our land and culture. And so we cry, Hail the White Strake!
Our Imperial blood is strong, and we can still see who our true allies are. We have come to remember and to inspire. Cyrodiil shall once more be free and victorious. Shall we fear these foes set before us? No! As the White Strake clove the elves asunder, so shall we drive our enemies from our land.
Daedra, she means. Metaphorical elves who are to us as the Aelids were to our forebears.
It's rude to interrupt, Predicant. Blessed Alessia, guided by the divines themselves, conquered this land and crushed the hedonistic heartland elves under her heel. Be ready to dodge at...
Garrison.
We praise the White Strake, who was never immoderate. And we speak to soldiers who value loyalty, and who know that to distrust an elf in Tamriel is simple common sense.
Given a choice, fire drakes are my team. Because I did have a choice, here I am. Though I didn't expect to end up so close to the Three Banners War.
hello. Can you come over here and help me? You look like a hardy soul, unconcerned with the prospect of death by trick, trap, or misadventure. How do you feel about helping a defenseless scholar from Gideon unearth a little history from Undertow Cavern? Oh, and can you swim? Have you heard of Phaelivon the Magnificent? He was a famous Nibonese Minotaur hunter, but his final resting place was lost to time. After years of searching, I think I finally found the site of Phaelivon's mausoleum. I hope to recover proof that this is Phaelivon's tomb. His armor, helm, and sword would do nicely. But I didn't get far before I found the cavern overrun with goblins and minotaurs, and parts of it are flooded. I'll pay you well to help me. No one in Leowyn realizes that Undertow Cavern is the final resting place of a great hero. Let me secure my belongings and I'll meet you inside. Time to grab the bull by the horns and wade right in. I found accounts of Phaelivon's burial in a shining mausoleum on a hill outside Leowyn. He was laid to rest with his arms and armor, relics of his many victories. This is the place, but goblins infest the caverns, and minotaurs too. You would be, I suppose. Well, Phaelivon the Magnificent had a golden helm. He wore armor of impervious mail, and he wielded a sword of exceptional sharpness. The stories say that Phaelivon had the most beautiful mail, impervious to sword, arrow, and spear. We don't know much about armor of his era, but he was known as the Magnificent. I can only surmise his armor was quite splendid. Phaelivon's sword was so sharp, it was said to be able to cut the air itself. No, that isn't right. I suppose any sword will cut air. Ah, that's it. This one could cut through armor like air. That's what I was told. As I understand it, the helm was a gift from the Lord of Leowyn in gratitude for Phaelivon's many heroic deeds in Blackwood. The stories say it was fashioned in the shape of a roaring dragon's face. Well, it has been many hundreds of years. I suppose Phaelivon's arms and armor might not be much to look at now, but in any condition they would be of immense historical value. I simply know it. I suppose goblins aren't much of a surprise. They infest many caves in this region, although I had hoped I wouldn't run into any. The minotaurs I didn't expect. None have been seen so close to Leowyn in centuries. That's the very question I was wondering about. Wherever they came from, these minotaurs seem very hostile. Enraged, even. I've heard all kinds of fighting inside. I think they're angry at the goblins. Do minotaurs and goblins get along? That's because it was swallowed by the earth. One night, 700 years ago, people living nearby heard a terrible sound. When they came to look in the morning, they found that the whole mausoleum had fallen into the caves underneath the hill. Because the caves beneath this hill were the site of Phaelivon's last and greatest battle. The mausoleum was a monument to his victory, as well as his tomb. Until Undertow Cavern swallowed it up anyway. Just the sort of place goblins love. Darksome, dank, and foul.
I can just picture this sword cleaving savage minotaurs. A pity it's dull beyond use now. His armor shone by the light of moons or sun. It's just too bad minotaurs are enraged by shiny objects. Imagine how many times this helm saved the heroic Phalavon's head! Except that last time, obviously. The armor, helm, and sword are all badly damaged. Skeptics might say these could have belonged to anybody. We need to find Phalavon's Horn of Magnificence to settle the question for good. But where is the horn? Why isn't it here? Phalavon's Horn of Magnificence was his greatest treasure. My grandmother told me he made it from the horn of a Minotaur lord. It had a brass cap inscribed with an intricate design. When Phalavon blew it, echoes rang from the hills for 7 days. I am. Mostly. But yes, I have a personal stake in this. Phalavon is a distant ancestor. I grew up on stories of his battles, his magic horn. Oh, could this be about the horn? Grandmother told me the horn's note drove Minotaurs mad with fear and rage. But sometimes the horn called Minotaurs to battle even when no one sounded it. Maybe the Minotaurs are here because of the Horn of Magnificence. Oh, I wondered about that too. House Vero mostly died out long ago, but they were certainly real enough. We can trace a relationship to Phalavon's line on my mother's side. There is truth to my grandmother's tales. I'm certain of it. No. No one outside my family remembers Phalavon. Almost all of the histories that recorded his deeds have been lost. Even his mausoleum vanished. But now I'm close to the proof that Phalavon really existed, and was a great hero. Did you hear that? Phalavon's horn! sure I heard the horn in this chamber. But who sounded it? Belevon's horn! Just as the stories described it. Did this goblin sound the note we heard? It looks like we can get out through here, if you don't mind getting a little wet. Finally, proof of Phalevon's legend! I'll be the talk of Gideon once I bring these trophies home. And yet, I wonder, did the goblins here cause their own troubles by meddling with Phalevon's horn? Or is it dangerous to just keep around? I want to take them back to Gideon and prove, once and for all, that my family's story is true. Fame, fortune, festivities await! But if these relics, especially the Horn of Magnificence, are dangerous, perhaps I shouldn't bring them home. You're right. Phalevon's magnificence deserves to be remembered far and wide. I'll take these historical relics to Gideon and prove the truth of my family's old legends. Thank you for your encouragement. We may be bruised, battered, and wet, but these relics tell a magnificent story. Without your help, I'd never have learned about the fate of Phalevon and the Horn. Thank you. Oh, I shouldn't forget your pay. Visit me in Gideon sometime. I hope to see you again sometime. Although I must confess, now that I finally found evidence supporting the legend of Phalevon, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do next. Don't worry about me. I shall set out at once, and I shall neither fear, fret, nor flinch from any dangers on my road. After all, I share the bloodline of a great hero. A few generations removed, anyway.
have my word. If the Counselor is in Leowin or the surrounding countryside, the Ivory Brigade will find her. Not now, citizen. Can't you see I have my hands full at the moment? I'm sure a guard or one of my brigadines can assist you. Why didn't you say so? Leowin's problems are legion, and now the Wood Elf Archer's predictions seem to be coming true. Damn these old Imperial secrets. Counselor Jirik has disappeared, and the Ivory Brigade is already spread too thin for my liking. The Wood Elf, Everly Sharparrow. She brought news that the Dark Brotherhood was targeting members of the Elder Council, all because of some secret of the Longhouse Emperors. We took her warning seriously, but Jirik refused Brigadine protection. With that guild of assassins, I'm not sure what to think. But Jirik is missing, and I don't have enough Brigadines at the ready to conduct a proper search. You look capable. So, care to earn some gold and help us determine the Counselor's fate? Here, let me update your map. These are places Jirik visits during her daily routine. If something befell her, it happened somewhere along this path. Meanwhile, I have Everly Sharparrow checking locations in the city. She was very eager to help. Counselor Jirik was a member of the Imperial Elder Council, back when we still had an empire. Now her title is mostly ceremonial, but she continues to assist the legates by serving as an intermediary with the local nobility. Since the collapse of the Empire and the dissolution of the Elder Council, Leowin has become an independent city-state. Countess Caro sits on the throne, but the Chamber of Legates governs the city. I suppose the Countess is technically the highest authority in Leowin, but she leaves the administration of the city to the Chamber of Legates. Leviticus, another former council elder, leads this august body, along with Tebezako and Amhalu. Counselor Jirik is a creature of habit. Her daily routine is to stroll along the river and stop to read near a cave across the way. While Everly Sharparrow examines spots the Counselor frequents in the city, you should check these locations. On paper, Countess Caro rules Leowin, but in practice, the Chamber of Legates governs the city. Legates Tebezako and Amhalu, and Counselor Leviticus. They handle day-to-day tasks. Me? I'm commander of the Ivory Brigade, Leowin's militia. Indeed. Since the fall of the Empire, the Ivory Brigade had to redouble its efforts to replace the Imperial legions. We maintain active defenses in the north to keep the ongoing war at bay, but we have our hands full with refugees, bandits, and such. The Three Banners War. Let the alliances fight over the Ruby Throne as long as they leave us in peace. I just wish I had more soldiers to spare for this new threat that Everly Sharparrow brought to our attention. Everly Sharparrow is an adventurer from Valenwood, though I get the sense she's relatively new at the job. She recently arrived with news of a threat against the former members of the Imperial Elder Council. I was skeptical at first, but now... She told us that the late Emperor Leovik's steward was murdered by the Dark Brotherhood. Apparently, it pertains to some secret of the Longhouse Emperors, but those details she discussed with Counselor Leviticus. Everly found a number of documents pertaining to this secret. One of these contained a list of names. The steward and some of the counselors. She assumed that since the steward had already been killed, the rest of the list might be next.
Captain, are you really trusting the fate of Counselor Jirik?
A fascinating application of the technique. Welcome. Are you here on Mage's Guild business? Yes, of course. We're lawkeepers across the face of Tamriel. Guild members seek out books, tomes, and ancient scrolls in their travels. Why don't you speak with me for a moment? Perhaps you'd like to join. Always good to speak with another knowledge seeker. Guildmaster Vanus will be pleased. We're book hunters of a sort. We seek out new information, capture it in our libraries, and make copies for distribution across Tamriel. The Guild doesn't care about battlefields or boundaries, just knowledge and the acquisition of new tomes. We provide training in unique spells and abilities only available to members. And from time to time, projects crop up for those with an adventuresome spirit. You may end up working with the Guildmaster himself. We are neutral in the war between the three alliances. When we're on Guild business, we kneel to no king or queen. That's why you'll see members of every race in our halls. Vanus Galerian, one of the founding members of this august body, still holds the proud title of Guildmaster, overseeing every guild hall in Tamriel. He works with other ranking members, such as Tellinger, the Artificer, to ensure our future success. Excellent. You are now a student of the Mages Guild. Every book you find will now earn you reputation in the Guild.
Next time I'm in the field, welcome to our hall. Are you familiar with the guild? The Fighters Guild. You should consider joining up. We have a new guildmaster and a new singular purpose. Why don't we talk for a moment? Excellent. I know we'll all be drawing blades together soon enough. Now, what can I tell you? Right. Our new guildmaster is an Argonian, sees all colors. She has us all hunting down the Daedra and their damned anchors. You might have seen them. Enormous chains, plagues of Daedra boil out to lay waste to the countryside. Hard fights. Ha! Yes, good question. We train our members in special techniques, and the higher-ups are always looking for motivated members to help with special projects. You never know, you might be the next Yofnir. Guildmaster Yofnir passed away recently, very suddenly. I always thought he'd die with a blade in his hand, but he passed away in his sleep, called to Sovngarde by his ancestors. We all miss him, but Colors has proven to be a very able leader. No, we only draw blades in service to the Guild. We're technically neutral in the war between the three alliances. We love the Eagle Banner and Her Majesty, of course, but every race, every creed belongs under the Guild Hall's roof. Then let me be the first to officially welcome you as an associate of the Fighters Guild. Get out there and take the fight to the Daedra.
Have you seen the note? Ah, of course. These listings are where other...
You know, I once lived in an abandoned...
Hear ye, card sharps and collectors! Test your wits and courage in a brand new card game, Tales of Tribute!
Counselor Jirek? Oh, pardon me. You're not the counselor. Apologies. I heard you stumbling about and thought it might be Counselor Jirek. Oh, no one important, I assure you. I'm simply one of the counselor's aides. I help her with paperwork mostly. Run errands, that sort of thing. She initially refused the captain's offer, but she received a letter that made her uneasy. Last I saw, she was headed back to the city by way of the Eastern Gate. But she never returned to her manor, so I came to look for her. Please, find her.
Someone! Anyone! Help me! I refused to believe, but Farrell, Leviticus, they were right. I was attacked. An assassin. You must warn the others, the counselors. Leofic's secret, it will be the death of us all!
Counselor Jirik! Damn, we're too late! Damn it! I'm too late! Poor Counselor Jirik. She didn't deserve to die like that. At least I don't think she did. Did you see what happened? The mark of the Dark Brotherhood. Just like with Farrell Lupus. Sorry. I'm working for Counselor Leviticus, the head of the Chamber of Legates. I came to Leowyn to warn him after I stumbled across some secret concerning the Longhouse Emperors. It relates to something called the Four Ambitions of Mehrunes Dagon. I think they're Daedric weapons, but I'm still puzzling that out. I was working for Farrell Lupus before he was murdered. Found a strange tome with Daedric markings at his behest. Yeah, that's what brought me here. I found a list of names. Farrell Lupus and members of the Elder Council. It said they all knew something about this secret. Since Farrell was murdered, I figured the others were in danger too. Looks like I was right. Let me have your map. I'll mark where Councillors Valeria and Sophis were last seen. Go warn them, convince them to take precautions. Then meet me at Councillor Jirik's manor in the city. Maybe we can find something to shed more light on this secret. I'll get the city guards to come and gather the Councillor's body. She shouldn't just be left out here. Then I'll head to Councillor Jirik's manor. When you're done checking on Councillor Valeria and Councillor Sophis, meet me there. Like I said, it all started when I found that strange tome for Farrell Lupus, and Emperor Leovic's journal. It was in code, but I got it translated. Sent me to a few hidden Imperial caches where I learned that the Longhouse Emperors had a secret. Right, but it turned out I wasn't the only one trying to learn more about the ambitions. A group of cracked acorns called the Order of the Waking Flame. Fanatic Mehrunes Dagon cultists. Had to put arrows in more than one of those bastards. I guess someone hired them to eliminate everyone who knows about the secret. The question is, who? And I was told by a more or less friendly Dremora named Lyrinth that the fate of our world was at stake. So of course I want to figure this all out. So Farrell Lupus hired me to retrieve a book from a retreat once used by the Longhouse Emperors. He never told me what it was, and he died before I could ask. The book is weird. It has weird pages and weird markings, and I can't read a word of it. Not much. Farrell's partner said he planned to use it to make things right, but she didn't know how. And it's Daedric, I think. I will say, carrying it, it's kind of a burden. And I've been having strange dreams. But I don't want to talk about that.
We weren't expecting visitors. Are you here to see the counselor? Are you here to speak with Counselor Sophis? I'm afraid my husband has taken our dog for a walk. Is there something I could help you with, perhaps? Danger? What are you talking about? Does this have something to do with that letter? And who are you, by the way? Captain Rianne? I see. Well, if the Ivory Brigade sent you, my husband likes to walk our dog Chero along the tree line. Go on and find him. I'll wait here in case he returns. My husband, Valen, received a letter from an old friend this morning. Lupus, Emperor Leovic's steward. I could see that whatever was in that letter upset him, but he didn't want to discuss it, and I didn't push him. Now please, go find him. What's taking you so long? They should...
Valen! No! Oh, Valen! Oh, my love! What happened? I thought...
You know, Valen acted strange after the letter from Lupus arrived. He didn't tell me what it said, and I never asked. Before he left today, he gave me a sealed scroll, said to give it to Counselor Leviticus if anything ever happened to him. A scroll, sealed and bearing my husband's stamp. Take it. Give it to Counselor Leviticus. I hope it helps catch whoever murdered my husband. I'll summon the town guard. They'll help me with my husband.
Well?
Yeah.
Stay alert. I have it on good authority that I'm in danger.
Of course, Counselor.
Step back and state your business. I have every reason to believe that my life is in danger. If you so much as make a threatening gesture, the Brigandine will dismember you. He has very strict orders on that regard. I was beginning to suspect as much. Very well. Tell me everything that you have learned. Leave nothing out. I want to hear it all. Lupus. Emperor Leovik's old steward? And Jirik as well? Gods, they are targeting the Elder Council. Anything else? Tell me. The slightest detail could mean the difference between life and death. The ambitions? I heard that term once before, years ago. I must go to Tidewater Cave. I have a cache hidden there, and I need to check my records. Meanwhile, I suggest you find Jirik's files. She kept them in a hidden compartment in her nightstand. Possibly. I oversaw the Imperial Treasury, so my records deal with expenditures and collections. I have documents going as far back as Emperor Morikar, possibly even Durkarach, and I know I saw that term someplace. I will see what I can find. Extremely well. We were rivals as well as colleagues on the Elder Council. It was that way between all of the counselors, I suppose. Her death is a tragedy, however. I will miss her.
I'm glad you're here. I've been searching all over, but I could use your help. This place is huge. Why do rich people need so many rooms? Oh, but tell me, did you warn the counselors like I asked? Sophus is dead? Damn! Was it the Dark Brotherhood? What am I saying? Of course it was! I've torn this place apart, but so far I haven't found anything related to Imperial secrets or the ambitions. Maybe you can spot something I missed. I knew you'd be a help, but I didn't expect you to just have the answer the moment you walked in. Good job! Counselor Jirek's bedroom is upstairs. Let's see if we can find that hidden compartment. Hidden compartment? I love it! I mean, I hate that people have died, but... So, what did you find? Let me see that. That's a code, all right. Some of the other documents I found use something similar. You know, I'm really starting to hate all this secrecy surrounding the ambitions. Good idea. We need to report in to Counselor Leviticus anyway. Let him know what we uncovered. If he has a qualified scribe, great. If not, I know someone. They helped me with those other documents. Let's go to Leowyn Castle and talk to Leviticus. I can't help feeling that once we solve the secret of the Longhouse Emperors, we'll know how to stop the Dark Brotherhood from murdering any more of the counselors. I'll see you at the castle.
I need your report, mercenary. Word reached me that Councillor Jirik was murdered. What about Sophus and Valeria? And did you find definitive proof that the Dark Brotherhood is our culprit? That's the Black Hand, symbol of the Dark Brotherhood. I wish Jirik and Sophus had allowed me to assign brigadines to protect them. At least Valeria, however reluctantly, agreed to a military escort. Did you and Everly uncover any other information? It appears that Councillor Leviticus's trust in the Wood Elf was not misplaced. Very well. You and Everly can head in and talk to the Councillor.
Captain Rian and the Ivory Brigade will deal with the Dark Brotherhood. We are perfectly safe in here.
Your damn empire, Leviticus. It no longer exists, but it still causes us trouble.
You must be the mercenary that Captain Rian told me about. And I see you're working with Everly Sharparrow. Good. Good. I assume you have something to report. I'm listening. Damn it all to oblivion and back. I should have taken Pharaoh Lupus more seriously when I received his letter. This is definitely the mark of the Dark Brotherhood. Anything else to add to this? Yes, that's the Longhouse Emperor's code. Only a handful of Imperial scribes can decipher it. I know one. Baragon. I'll send for him at once. Meanwhile, we must warn the remaining councillors on the list. Eivor, Valeria, Itinia, and Vandacia. Very good. I've sent messages to Itinia and Vandacia already, as neither of them are currently within Leowin's jurisdiction. I need you to go to Fort Blueblood. Councillor Eivor has taken refuge there, but I'd prefer to have her here in Leowin. Everything we do now must be swift if we are to get ahead of this. Go to Fort Blueblood and convince Councillor Eivor to return to the city. She'll be safer here than at the fort. Sadly, no. Whatever Leovic confided in Pharaoh Lupus and the others, whatever he ordered them to do, he kept it a complete secret from me. I suppose he assumed I wouldn't go along with anything illegal or Daedric, and he was right. I was, but the Elder Council was made up of almost 24 councillors. According to the list Everly Sharparrow brought me, only 7 councillors were privy to this secret. Make that 6. I have no idea why Leovic listed me among that group. Who knows what was going through Leovic's head when he wrote that entry in his journal? Varen and his rebels were literally pounding at the doors of the palace at the time. And Leovic wasn't totally in his right mind even before the rebellion. The Longhouse Emperors were Reachmen, who seized control of the Empire and ruled for some 40 years. Dukarach the Black Drake founded the ruling house. Morikar ascended to the throne after his father's death, and his son Leovic followed him. Leovic made a mistake. When he decided to declare Daedra worship as the law of the land, Duke Varen Aquilarios objected. He led a rebellion and personally dispatched Leovic in the Imperial throne room. Thus ended the Longhouse Emperor's reign. Unfortunately, no. Varen disappeared a few years later and the Empire collapsed. Now the so-called alliances are fighting over the scraps and Tamriel is in shambles. We're doing all we can just to keep Blackwood safe and secure. Eivor has always had an affinity for the Imperial military. When she received her letter of warning from Pharaoh Lupus, she sent word to me, told me she was going to the fort, that the soldiers would protect her. I fear she is badly mistaken. Only a token force of Brigadines guards Fort Blueblood. If the Dark Brotherhood is truly our enemy, I fear a lone assassin can bypass the fort's defenses with relative ease. Eivor would be better off here in the castle. Go and bring her back at once.
Fort Blueblood? That's to the east across the river. I'll meet you there.
possessions.
Got any silver in that lot you want to sell? Got a buyer. Then again... Plenty of scheming.
While the soil around here hasn't seen as much blood recently, there's plenty soaked in from past battles. Don't think about it too much. You'll likely be eating food grown around here.
Just pet the dog. It's harmless. Oh, Tertia, you idiot. No wonder he hasn't... Is there something you want? I'd like to be left alone right now. Body? Ring? Oh, Riemann on high, what's this about? Aloysius wrote this? And he's dead? This makes no sense. Howling? Chicken coops? It was just a mangy mutt. I don't even think it was rabid, let alone... Oh no, Aloysius. You poor fool. He wasn't cursed. He was hallucinating. The toad that Argonian used to ease his pain must have been too strong for him. Aloysius convinced himself he was a werewolf, and he... This is the second worst proposal I've ever had. I was once kidnapped by a crazed Sulzon warlord and offered the heads of my neighbors as a dowry. I'd rather not talk about it. I've had more than a dozen failed engagements in my life. If anyone here is cursed, it's me. But it's not all bad news. Aloysius didn't run off and leave me like half the others. He even gave his life to protect me. I've never had anyone love me that much. Is it wrong that makes me happy? Take this, for delivering my betrothed's last wishes. It was kind of you. I wonder if the Temple of Mara would marry us posthumously. It was his dying wish, after all. Maybe I should employ a priest of Arche for the ceremony, so he can pass on without regrets? Well, why not? I've had absolutely no luck with the living, and it's what he wanted. I'd rather die a widow than an old maid. It's not like this is how I dreamed of getting married, but after being jilted so many times, I may as well marry a man who can't change his mind. You may not get it, but for your sake, I hope you never have to.
ye card sharps and collectors, test your wits and courage in a brand new card game, Tales of Tribute.
The ground shakes, the sky quakes, the forests are ablaze. Darkness falls and chaos spreads, betrayal fills the day. May disaster turn away from us, send your earthquakes to our neighbors. May death and destruction pass us by, let fire and flood.
We simply must do something about the business, brother. These chambers are much too small for our lifestyle.
I realize that, Scipion, but the Fangfurls have us by the throat. What am I to do?
Storms strike from distant clouds, infernos rage, death the masses, blackness looms, discord ahead, betrayal like a sword blade.
Well now, Scipion can say what he wants about this city, but you don't have strapping, smoldering-eyed strangers walking to your suites in Chain Knoll. Alas, were I only in the mood for some distraction? Damnable Fangfurls! With the Empire gone, the Fangfurls gang controls all trade in Blackwood. They run by Pungent Adder. Every fifth coin in the region ends up in his coffers. This makes business difficult for my brother and I. Perhaps we could enlist your help? If we had one of their business ledgers, I'd have an understanding of the Fangfurls' operations. Perhaps even find a weakness ripe for exploiting. If you could procure one of those ledgers for us, my brother and I would pay you handsomely. If you get us a ledger, I'm certain we can put it to good use. Rumor has it the Fangfurls have a bookkeeper, Lerar Droth, who lives in town. I'd wager you could find a ledger in his home. It's just around the corner, across from the bridge. I know his name is Lerar Droth, but the Fangfurls make him lead a quiet life to conceal his identity, I imagine. But all the muscle on their payroll visits him for late-night liaisons. Very clandestine, the whole thing. But not to my keen eyes. The Happy Averno Shipping Company was gifted to my brother and I by our dear departed uncle. Formerly, it was one of Blackwood's main trade enterprises. We thought with a little elbow grease, it might prove a profitable venture. We discovered our uncle's affairs were more precariously poised than described, for one. Many of his charters and contracts were voided by the Three Banners War. The Fangfurls did the rest. They came for everything they could steal. You can learn a great deal from a business ledger. Where money comes from, where it goes, and then all you need to do is apply a little pressure at a weak point. I don't know exactly what we'll find, but I do know whatever it is, I can exploit it.
You have a look about you. Some sort of quality that's rare to find. And trust me, I'm never wrong about these sort of things. Can I interest you in a room at the local inn? Actually, wait, that came out wrong. Look, empty rooms are just bad for business. The upkeep alone costs me more than the place is worth. But I think we can come to a sort of arrangement. And not the sort of arrangement that involves a few drinks. Let me be clear about that. I need someone to improve the reputation of my properties. A hero type who people look up to. And I have a feeling about you. You've done something great and are probably on the way to do something greater. Seems like we can help each other here. Yeah, all right. Details. I can see how this might be a bit sketchy, but don't worry. The inn room is well kept, conveniently located. I know you adventuring types wanting a home in every town. This would be a nice addition to your holdings. No catch. I just need someone to freshen up my image. And my gut tells me you're the one to do that. As long as you're not planning on turning it into a skooma den or an outlaw's refuge, the room is all yours. Oh, sure. You can set up some crafting stations, house your pets, display any treasures or trophies you've come upon in your adventures. Hey, you can even set up a target dummy to practice combat. Just don't demolish the place and we're good. Excellent. You won't regret this decision, I swear. Here's the deed and key to the room. Took me a while, but I finally was able to take them back from the last tenant. Required more time in the sewers than I had hoped for, but hey, that's business. Hope the room is to your liking. With your reputation, I'm sure you shouldn't have any trouble with the neighbors. If you do, remember death threats are not the way to go. Had a spot of trouble when my last tenant started sending those out. Nope, just make yourself at home. Spruce things up a bit. Honestly, I can't wait to see how you arrange the place. Hopefully you'll end up with a few less Daedric shrines than another former tenant of mine. Like 0. 0's a good number. Oh, what a relief. I can't tell you how hard it is to wash bloodstains off of cobble floors. But that's not even the worst of it. I've had tenants cram their rooms with the wildest things. Mounts, foliage, assistants. I mean, it's an inn room. I own this and several other properties throughout Tamriel. It pays to diversify. Of course, that means I've got to look out for a variety of troubles, too. But hey, no one ever said the real estate business was easy.